We have a question for you. How do you grow your business during the fallout of a global pandemic? The principle of business profitability is a startup focused on scaling up businesses and also executive coaching practice. Peter Smith joins us now live. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And good to have someone in the studio again. Talk to us about what you guys do.
Look, we're a scaling up business coach. We started the organisation in December 2019, then ran headlong into the good ship of COVID. And not so much pivoted our approach, but being more focused on helping organisations and making them believe and execute a performance platform, which is really based on 4 fundamentals of people, strategy, execution, and cash.
And it wouldn't just be new people; it'd be the people that you were dealing with beforehand, of course, because everything changed.
Correct, everything changes, and that's why really even today, as we begin to re-emerge from the pandemic, the most important thing for organisations to do is believe that they have a chance and then step back from that and get their fundamentals right.
Yeah, so talk to us about how you can plan at a time like this. Obviously, a lot of people are looking to grow and to thrive, and they're hoping that 2021 is going to be what our leaders tell us and what the RBA tells us, which is fantastic as well. But it still feels like you can't really look too far past the end of your nose.
No, exactly right. And that's why the first place we start with our clients is on the cash position.
Right. So cash flow?
Absolutely. Look at your cash flow, look at your cash, look at your bank account every day. There are only 7 levers in all of your accounts. You might have a really complicated profit and loss and balance sheet. There's only 7 levers that can affect your cash. And if you make small changes in all of them, they have a massive compound effect on what ends up in your pocket at the end of the day.
I would imagine one of the levers is in terms of leadership and dealing with staff as well.
Sure.
How can leaders become great leaders at a time like this?
First thing to ask yourself a question, would you enthusiastically rehire all these people?
Right.
Because for most scale-ups, and that's what we do, the answer is no. And that's okay.
And why is that?
Because it's often said that we get the performance we're prepared to walk past. And if over a period of time you've walked past a performance that you recognise now as substandard, you've contributed to that. But the most important thing is to get the right people into the right seats, particularly at the top of the organisation, and doing the right things, and then step back from that and ask yourself the question again.
The thing is about a startup is that everybody is at the top of the organisation in a sense. Everyone needs to be a star for that startup to really lift off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's which means getting the recruitment processes right. Yeah. But not just stopping there, getting your onboarding processes right as well.
Yeah, which the tricky part of that, trying to find great staff, trying to find good staff, is that when it's a startup, you are trying to encourage people to do without a lot of things that they would get in a full-time job, right? So you're trying to say, come and enjoy the dream, it's more flexible, we're a better team, we're not corporate, etc. But it doesn't take long until people start wanting the things that a corporate gives them.
Correct, and that's why you really need to tap into the creative intel of your people.
Yeah.
And now recruitment...
So inspire, basically.
Correct.
To live the dream, to live by what you're talking about. We think of the Richard Bransons of the world and those sorts of entrepreneurs, even the guys who own Atlassian, of course, and their ability to really inspire their workforce.
Well, it's interesting to say Atlassian because they're a devotee of the Scaling Up program. They, Scott Farquhar launched that into his organisation about 2 years ago. And there's been some other Australian success stories again across Green Cross and Red Balloon.
Yeah, right. So talk to us about some of the key messages you have for SMEs at the moment.
Look, the key message is to look at your cash. And if you're able to do a simple test and increase your selling price by 1%.
Really, 1%?
If you do that, decrease your direct costs by 1%, decrease your overhead, so all of those discretionary expenses by 1%, and most business owners will say, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I would imagine by now most business owners have looked at kind of cutting out overheads. Number one being the cost of rent. People will be working from home.
Absolutely, and there has been some positive legislative changes made in that, but I think from a commercial rent perspective, there's still a way to go. Yeah. But if you increase your selling price by 1%, cut your direct and indirect costs by 1%, that will put a 19% compound increase in the amount of cash profit that you've got. And that's really, at that point, you then step back and look at your strategy, look at your execution, and look at your people from there.
All right, really love it, the idea of scaling up. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much indeed, Aaron. Lovely to be here.
Absolutely.